What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So let me talk about Tyson Fury and Dillian White tonight. Okay, first off, I felt like it was a very underwhelming fight. It was a boring fight, and I wasn't really shocked, to be honest with you. Well, let me tell you guys what I did. And by the way, I was in Florida, so that's why I didn't say much about what's been going on in the past couple of weeks. But I got something for that anyway, and I'm going to talk to you guys about Errol Spence and Ugas and Crawford on another video. But let me just tell you what I did. What I did was I went back and I looked at four different fights from Dillian White, and I looked at four different fights from Tyson Fury. Now, when you guys were telling me Dillian was going to smash him, he was going to knock him out, and when I was, when people were saying, oh man, like, why you taking up for Fury? I'm saying, you guys don't understand something. It's not about who you want to win. I'm looking at the possibilities. Now, one thing I did tell you guys was I don't see Tyson Fury fighting Dillian White the way he fought Wilder. First off, he's 2 inches taller than Wilder. But Wilder being 6'7", him being 6'9", Wilder has a better chance. As good a chance as fighting out from the outside than he does for trying to come in, as far as him being effective. The difference in terms of the physicality, the difference is Wilder just can't box, and he only has that one punch. So it's the jab, the right hand. You know that the jab is set up and the right hand is coming. Okay, and you can telegraph it when you know that that's what's coming. As soon as his feet move, is get out of range, sidestep, but he can't get you. Okay, when he dropped Fury, every time he dropped Fury, every single time Fury was careless. Wilder caught him slipping, and he just caught him. It wasn't like I'm timing him. No, he just caught him slipping. Let his hands go, and he caught him. Every time he knocked Fury down. Now with White, like I said, I told you guys, I don't see him fighting White the same way. Because for one, he gives White what White needs, and that's to be close to him. So why come forward and fight the shorter guy that needs you to come closer so he can catch you? He did what I said he was going to do, what I thought he was going to do, which was he was going to outbox White. He stayed on the outside, and nothing was really happening. What I saw when I watched those fights, I bet on this fight actually. 10 of us, we watched the fight and we all was betting, and pretty much, it wasn't a big thing, man, because hardly anybody bet on White, But for the people that did, bet on White, it was they was not really realistic with what they thought White was going to do to win. And this is the conclusion that I drawn was the same conclusion I came up with when I talked about these guys fighting last year. White's going to have to get close, but White's going to have to do things that we never seen him do, which is, for one, lateral movement, not coming in a straight line, and he's going to have a body attack. You call yourself the body snatcher, you're going to have a serious body attack. Break him down. Don't worry about trying to go up top, because you're going to wing shots, and that's what he was doing. And when White throws punches like that, they're all arm punches, and they're slow. You can telegraph them and can time him. So knowing what White has to do versus if he's going to actually do it, okay. People keep calling Tyson Fury pillow fisted, even though he knocked out Wilder. And I keep telling you guys, he doesn't have devastating punching power. What he has is a lot of weight behind his shots, and he now knows how to sit down on his punches. He fought backing up. Dillian White doesn't know how to cut off a ring, and Tyson Fury nullified all of his tactics with basic, simple tactics. And all he was doing was just backing and kept that stick out. And he realized, okay, White doesn't have a solid ring IQ. He doesn't know how to get around his jab, and he's just coming in a straight line, And every time that Fury would back up, White would like jog in front of him, but he's doing nothing. He's standing there and he's doing nothing, and everything was up top. Okay, Fury was doing to White what White should have been trying to do to him, which is go to his body. He broke him down by the fourth round. White was breathing with his mouth open. You could see it in his face. He was getting fatigued. Fifth round, it was just like, yeah. And we also came to the conclusion, why, like, yeah, he's going to mess around and get knocked out. By the third round, I was saying White is probably going to get knocked out. It's like, man, he just has no answers for nothing. He lost every round, every single round. And people, if you seen White fight for the first time tonight, you would be saying, no, this guy's highly overrated. People was already saying that. My thing was, he can punch with both hands. And because Fury can't move the way he used to. So as bad as White looked tonight, and the fact that Fury was able to be elusive just by backing up and, standing behind the jab, White tried to outbox him, which was the wrong thing. We said White's going to have to put pressure on him, and that's what White said he would do. Now, what it should do is this loss should humble him. Remember all the stuff he was saying about Anthony Joshua? Anthony Joshua, he's like, he don't go for the knockout no more. He tries to box, man. This guy lost his heart. Well, Dillian, you must have lost your heart too, because you didn't try to go for the kill like you said. It's easier when you're on the outside looking and criticizing, but when you're in there, you see it's a difference. Now, although AJ and Fury didn't fight each other yet in the pros, other than sparring, it's like, yeah, he was talking that I go in there, I'm going to put pressure. And also, I looked and I listened to what he was saying in the press conference. First off, they talked a lot of stuff about each other on social media, but face to face, they're laughing, smiling, and it's all of a sudden, I'm like, Fury's baiting him with the friendship stuff now. Yeah, okay. I didn't, he just didn't sound hungry, man. And then he made a comment about, it's not about outboxing Fury or, it's just when I'm in there, we're in the fight, man, I'm just coming to, and I thought about even these things that he was always talking about just going in one speed. One of the things I looked at is that shows a lack of discipline, and it shows a lack of skill. Because if you can't switch it, then when whatever you're doing is not working, what do you have? And look at what he got knocked out with. The one punch that he just can't seem to get away from, which is the uppercut. Yes, Fury didn't knock him out with a straight. He knocked him out with an uppercut. Not a hook, the uppercut. He just cannot get away from the damn uppercut. And basically, when I narrowed it down, I said I think White wins. I think Fury wins. And people was, I'm telling you, man. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. I'm giving you mine. So I bet. And when I bet, it was like, for the people that didn't understand it, man, White should have been doing this. And I'm like, exactly what you're saying is what I'm telling you. Things that we don't see White normally do is what he was going to have to do. And how can we confidently say, excuse me, that he's going to actually do that just because he's talking like, I would put pressure, but it's ways. How do you apply that pressure? He couldn't get around that jab at all. And you see how he was winging, his shots was coming from way back here. And it's like, and I got told from the first round, I didn't like his strategy. Because it's like, man, what's this filling out process? Jump on him. You know what you have to do. You can't stand here and outbox him. You're not going to win a fight from the outside. By the third round, I was convinced that he was going to lose. Whether it was knockout or decision. But by that fourth round, I'm like, nah, he about to get knocked out. Nah, he already fifth round. People going, yo, Aries, I think you're right. Yeah. I'm like, hey, look at him, I'm not going to say I thought it was going to be the sixth round. I didn't know what round it was going to be in, but I'm like, he's going to get knocked out the way he's fighting. He can't get around the jab. He has nothing. And arm punches don't have a lot on him, even when they look fast. And his punches look slow. His feet look slow. Dillian showed no footwork. Like I said, he showed no real ring IQ. He looked worse against Fury than AJ did against Usyk. At least they had that fight scored 8-4, 7-5. So he was in the fight. White didn't win one round. And if anything, this fight should light a fire under Anthony Joshua's ass to go in there and perform at his best and understand how that he needs to stay motivated and mix up what he needs to in order to get his titles back. Now, whether Tyson Fury actually retires or not, we don't know. That's probably a bravado to get people more invested in him, and it'll be more of an interest. Like, hey, look, man, you still got a lot left. Why retire now? You still got it, right? And maybe he's saying all of that, and then make sort of be more of a demand. And then when let's just say whoever wins, why would you not want to unify? And all that. Oh, I've been in the unification. I'm unified champ. I've been this. I've been that. Look, you held all those titles. If this is about legacy, because even beating White, let's be real, you still didn't beat AJ. You still didn't beat Usyk. And if you can hang up the gloves, comfortable with that, so be it. But in terms of legacy, his resume still could be better than what it is. And after those two guys, then if you feel like you want to call it quits, then it's like, yeah. But if he feels it now, that's his choice. You feel like you don't want to do it, never. But with Fury, you never know with him, because he just says a lot of things, and like you don't never know when he's going into show business with what he's saying versus if he really means it. So anyway, it was a very boring fight, very underwhelming fight to me. It was, and I was not surprised at the outcome. But for the people that was, no, I'm not. Again, I'm not anybody's fan. So don't ever call me a fan of anybody's. I'm not. But when I was telling you guys that it's not guaranteed, like I don't feel like Dillian Whyte is going to beat him. I felt like Dillian Whyte had a chance because he can punch, and he was talking about how he would pressure on him. Like if he understands what he has to do to win, and then he's able to go do it, that's one thing. But Dillian Whyte, all this, I come to fight. I don't come to do to dance and move and all that. And it's like, okay, well, if you are fine with being one-dimensional, it's going to show when you come up against somebody who's not one-dimensional that your limitations are going to be exploited. That's what we saw. Tyson Fury took advantage of the things that Dillian Whyte wasn't capable of doing. Let's be real. You can never listen. My thing was Dillian Whyte, he showed that he can box. There's levels to this. He's just not as good as Fury. I think stylistically, if they fought 10 times, I think Fury would beat him every single time. He cannot handle that style. He just couldn't get around that reach. He had nothing. And when he was going to the body, one punch at a time. No combinations to the body. All that, throwing elbows on the inside and hitting on the break, why they in the clinch and all that. That's frustration, it's aggravation. Fury was getting pissed off. He was getting pissed off, and it was just a lot of, that also that's a sign of weakness. When the fighter gets frustrated and they started, because I forgot what round it was in when that happened, but you could see how they went inside and White threw something and threw an elbow behind it. And that's what pissed Fury off, and they won the ropes on the clinch and all this, hitting behind the head and stuff. And it's like I told you guys, it's not about who you want to win. With me, I'm just being honest. Just like I told you guys, I know what AJ has to do to win against Usyk. Is he capable of doing it? We'll know come fight night. And basically, they fought already, so we know what he can't do and win. So looking at these two guys, I picked Fury to win. And he did. So, I wish White could have pulled it off, because I was feeling like if he did pull it off, he'd probably be quicker to unify than Fury would. And Fury's already talking about this retirement stuff. But like I said, with him, you never know if he's just being a bozo or if he really means it. So, what's next for either guy, we'll see. And I think with White now guys like F.A., Frank Sanchez, different guys are now. Joey Joyce was already calling him out. Different guys are going to want to fight him now, because even though they're not as tall and lanky and rangy as Fury, or not, as slick of a boxer as he is, they're going to look at, there's other things that you can look at overall with Dillian Whyte that that he can't do. He has his limitations, and again, like I said, I think Fury's smart enough to know not to try to just go straight through him. He went straight at Wilder because he knows Wilder can't box. So he knows that. The thing is this. Dillian is a better boxer than he is a brawler. So Fury knows if he can take that away from him, that he just basically took his best weapon away, which is boxing skill. He can't outbox him. Just like, AJ can't outbox Usyk. So he has to rough him up, work beyond. It's different thing, and AJ has different physical gifts that he should be able to use to beat Usyk. But Fury, Dillian Whyte, on the other hand, is more like, okay, I instead of me trying to rough this guy up, working his body, that's what he had to go into body snatcher mode. I said this last year. He's not going to be able to outbox Tyson Fury. He has a chance because he can punch, and if he understands how to get in, and Fury can't move like he used to, but he was able to still nullify Dillian Whyte just with that jab and working off that jab. And it was just simple, basic jab, left hand. Jab, right hand. Jab, boom, go down to the body. One shot at a time. And when he starts breaking him down, he starts getting him huffing and puffing, he okay. And then he started taking more chances and more risks. And Dillian Whyte didn't do anything different. So it is what it is. Salute both fighters for going in the ring and just doing what they could do. And the better man won. It's just as simple as that, y'all. So for the people that's like, man, I hate Fury, I want him to lose. Well, I guess now you just got to see if he's going to actually retire or if he's going to fight the winner of AJ Usyk. But until then, I didn't really fight. I didn't think much of the fight. It was just a boring fight to me. But they did what they had to do to win. So I'm not knocking. Listen, they did what they could do. Fury didn't have to do any more than what he did. Whyte was the one that needed to step his game up and be different. Like I told you last year, he has to be different in this fight. He can't win this fight fighting Fury the way we've seen him fight other guys. Because even with heart and determination, let's just be real. If he was thinking like everybody else, that Fury has pillows and fists, I told you guys, no. Fury's not the biggest puncher, but he has weight behind his shots. And if he has feather dusters for fists or pillows for fists, well, then you have to have a weak chin then, because he knocked out Wilder. And even though he was on the back foot, he wasn't coming forward. Again, he didn't have to. He broke Dillian Whyte down and he got him out of there. Got up, he was on his feet. He was on his feet. The referee's, all right, and he got up, he stumbled again. So we see what happens. Anyway, like I said, salute both fighters for going to the ring and just doing what they did. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.